And Mayor Brown is about to speak, but Reverend Pridgeon, we thank you so much for being with us tonight and giving us your perspective. I can guarantee we'll be talking to you again in the future about the violence in Buffalo Public Schools.
Thank you, Reverend Pridgeon, for being with us tonight. We're going to hear from the Buffalo Mayor, Byron Brown,
we're here to provide
right now.
an update on an incident at McKinley High School at around 3:45. I'm here with Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Kreiner Cash, Special Agent in charge of the FBI, Steve Belongia, and Commissioner of Police, Byron Lockwood, Deputy Commissioner Joseph Gramaglia. The four of us will provide updates. So at 3:45, a call went out of a person shot outside of McKinley High School. The police response was very quick. There were two people that were injured, a student and a school security officer. The school security officer is in very good shape. The student is in surgery right now, and certainly we are praying for that student and praying for a full recovery of both individuals. Dismissal time of the school is at 3:25, so this was after dismissal, and this was outside of the school building where this incident occurred. Obviously, we never want any kind of violent incident inside or outside or around our school buildings, but it's very important to note that this did occur outside of the school. It did not occur inside the school. We have a very strong law enforcement partnership, and there's a very close partnership between the Buffalo Police and the Buffalo Public Schools, enabling our D-District Police Station and other law enforcement agencies to respond very quickly. I want to thank the FBI, I want to thank the New York State Police, county agencies, and others that have been part of this response. To provide more detail on conditions and response, we will have Deputy Police Commissioner Joseph Gramaglia be the last speaker. Now I want to turn things over to Dr. Kreiner Cash, Superintendent of the Buffalo Public Schools.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. And first of all, colleagues, let me say that our thoughts and prayers are with our two victims this evening. We certainly are praying for them alongside the families that are here with their students waiting to receive their students. There are still maybe over 100 students here and who are on lockdown, and the parents are waiting over here to my left to receive them. So we just want to extend our consideration and appreciation for their patience. We will say also that we really appreciate the partnership that we have with the Buffalo City of Buffalo, and the Buffalo Police Department. They have been excellent all year long as our partners, particularly the officers that are with us every day, Chief Aaron Young and Lieutenant Craig. They are just with us on the scene whenever we have incidents in school. Certainly nothing this year has risen to the level that we see here today. We will also want to say that we communicated as soon as we could with our parents, because this happened at an awkward time of day. It was at the dismissal time, and it was at a time when we were still gathering information about what happened. There was a lot of misinformation, and I needed to make sure what was accurate, and the mayor and I were in close correspondence from about 3:20, 3:30, all the way until we came to this press conference. Next, from my angle and standpoint, the board, I've informed, and that what I will do with my staff, I've already directed them, is we are going to reset McKinley in a phased approach. Certainly for the next 3 days, they will be on remote learning, and that has already occurred. The communications have gone out. At that time, we will be talking with students, with teachers and all staff, and certainly guiding and directing and preparing our administrators for the next steps. There has been a plan in place for some time with McKinley because we've had bumps here much of the year. So that's the first part. If after looking at the detail of this plan, which my executive team is working right now, it becomes necessary to extend the period of reset, then it could be in a day or two that I say that McKinley will not reopen in person until the 28th of February. So there's a possibility on the 21st, that's the first phase, that I'd like to have us back if all the conditions warrant that. If not, we will continue to reset, continue to make sure our plan works for all of the students, and then we'll bring them back in phases on the 28th. Please be assured that we are doing everything we can to continue to keep all of our schools safe, and we will have McKinley back very shortly at its very best. We certainly want to pray for the young man that is in the hospital right now. We're particularly concerned about his condition, and we are on constant alert right now to hear how he's faring.
We'll take questions at the end. We're going to go now to Special Agent in charge of the FBI, Steve Belanger.
I'm Steve Belanger. I'm the Special Agent in charge of the FBI office here in Buffalo. First and foremost, I'd like to echo the sentiments of the super.
Well, we are recapping a live news conference. We're having audio problems right now, but we can tell you that Mayor Byron Brown addressed the crowd and told us tonight that they are working with the school board and Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Kreiner Cash, who told us that McKinley will now be going to remote learning. And here's the Special Agent of the FBI.
Intelligence or evidence response I've made available to the Buffalo Police Department. Just to be clear, there's no ongoing threat at the school currently, and that has been resolved. With that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Gramaglia.
The only update I have at this time is the student is still in surgery. That is still ongoing. We have detectives at the hospital. We're monitoring that condition, and the security guard is, as I'm told, is non-life-threatening injuries and is at ECMC. We are aggressively working this case. We have a lot of investigators, a lot of resources, a lot of the federal agencies and the state agencies. Everybody has pitched in, but we have a lot of resources. If anyone has any information, any tips, any witnesses, you can call our confidential tip line, 847-2255. You can call Crime Stoppers. You can call 911. Any way to get information to us. If you know anything about the shooting, if you know who the shooter is, please contact us immediately. Thank you.
Do you have a description of the shooter?
We're not putting one out at this time. Like I said, we're moving aggressively. If we feel the need to get something out, we're going to work this for a bit, and then we'll get something out if we get to that point. But we are, as I said, our investigators are aggressively working this.
Dr. Cash, you mentioned two things. Number one, can you describe how these students are going to be released and how they're going to be reunited with their families? Because obviously there are concerned parents on either side of the scene here.
Yeah, thank you for that question, sir. However, this is a matter that the police department has taken control of the scene because it is a crime scene, so I would defer that question to our commissioner.
So we still have students in the building. We have parents here. We have officers with the parents. To do this as quickly and as safely as possible, like I said before, we don't want everybody coming out at one time. So it is a process. We are doing it under police supervision along with the principal of the school and our school's chief. So we have facilitated some of the students out, and we're still working through that process.
Can I also just clarify, the security guard who was shot is an actual security guard. It's not a school resource officer, correct?
It is not a police officer. It's a school security officer.
With the suspect still at large, any plans for additional patrols out in this area?
we have a lot of resources out here now. Our day shift is still held over. We have officers from other parts of the city. We've brought in some other resources, other units. We have sufficient resources here.
Was the shooter a student or no?
I'm sorry?
Was the shooter a student or no?
We're not prepared to answer that yet. We're still working on some identification stuff.
Dr.
Do you have
Dr.
leads?
Cash, you mentioned that there are
Just
some.
to be clear, first of all, it happened outside, but it happened on Buffalo Public School property, correct?
I don't know.
Okay.
If it's on the sidewalk, technically that's not considered Buffalo Public, but it's in our campus,
City
so
of Buffalo
it's
property.
happening. Yeah, that's
Okay.
it. But it happened in our campus.
Right.
Did you say a parking lot?
No, I don't know.
It occurred at the end of a walkway right by the parking lot on the south side of the building.
And that's right by the greenhouse, correct?
A little bit before that.
Okay.
And the other question, Dr. Cash, we know that there have been fights at McKinley High School, some of them really, really bad. The videos have been out there. Because of those fights and the violence and the teachers saying that they were concerned about their safety, have you done anything or had you done anything up to this day? Because when teachers say they fear something like this would happen, what have you been doing to try to make sure that this didn't?
Absolutely. I mean, every day we monitor all the incidents in all the schools. I'm brought up to date for every incident that occurs throughout the district every day. And there are incidents that occur throughout the system. McKinley, we have put additional teacher assistants, additional staffing in the hallways so that we monitor the passing of classes. We put additional resources, at least 15 additional staffing resources in this year alone. And every day we are looking to bolster wherever we see the data suggests. So security guards and officers, we put additional those into the budget, and we also have additional SROs and police support and backup here almost on a daily basis.
So the
Mayor
security
Brown,
guard who was shot, is that person part of that upgraded security plan, or is that person new to the school in terms of bolstering that security and safety?
Those two individuals are among our strongest security officers. So I triage and move security officers around. Those were two that I moved here because of their talent and their skills with kids, and they're veterans.
Mr. Mayor, you see the parents here obviously gathered on the other side of the camera. I'd like for you to speak with them. Talk to the parents, the community here in Buffalo. What's your message for the city?
So my thoughts and prayers go out to the people that were injured. Certainly want parents to know that we support them, we support their children. We're going to support the school district and make sure that their children going to and coming from school are safe.
Mayor Brown, you had a very poignant tweet talking about the fact that Buffalo, New York is now a location for a school shooting. What is going through your head as the leader of the city?
You never want to see this. School shootings have occurred all too frequently in this country. We never thought it would occur here in Buffalo. We have had an incident here which we are deeply concerned about and still processing that incident. As Deputy Commissioner Gramaglia said, this is a crime scene now, and we're trying to piece together all the information that we can to figure out exactly what happened and to make sure that we can all partner and work together to prevent these types of incidents from occurring again in the future.
Gentleman right here, gentleman right here. Gentleman right here, Claudine, gentleman right here.
Dr. Cash, there's a lot of concerned parents here that showed up onto the scene and didn't hear necessarily from the school district specifically. They heard from other outlets, including media and other parents and their kids in the school. What do you have to say to those parents that didn't necessarily get that message out maybe as soon as they would have liked, or to that nature?
Yeah, we appreciate the parents' concern. It certainly is my concern. We got the message out as soon as we could, as soon as we had cogent details. And we've worked very closely with the city. The mayor is actually most helpful to me to get the accurate information that was occurring because he worked so closely with his commissioners. And when I got that piece together, we then put that message out.
Spectrum.
Just real quick, I know you want to get them out slowly, but is there a timeline on when we'll start to see at least the first students get reunited with their parents?
students have been coming out of the building, so we have more. There was a lot of students in the building. There was over 100 students, so it's going to take some time. So that is a process that's ongoing.
Can you just describe where the investigation goes from here and what we can expect to see in the next couple of hours, the next day or so?
Our detectives, our investigators are working to build up leads, talk to witnesses, and then we will, once we have sufficient evidence, working with the district attorney's office, we will swiftly move to make an arrest.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Any other updates we will provide during?
Okay, so you just heard from Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown, Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Kreiner.
Major recap going on there in front of McKinley High School tonight with the mayor and the superintendent of schools, Kreiner Cash, admitting that they were aware of the tension and the problems at McKinley High School and that they had a plan that they had not implemented at this point, but they will. But in the meantime, McKinley High School will be going to remote learning as their students that are there are being reunited with their parents at this hour. Jackie?
That remote learning will continue through the end of the week, and then there will be a reevaluation, as according to the superintendent. He gave 2 days. One was February 21st to begin a phase 1 process, and by February 28th, hoping to have all students back in that building. But obviously, between now and then, there is a lot of work that needs to be done.